Have you ever noticed that the things capable of changing your life are usually the exact things you keep putting off? The workout, the difficult conversation, the business launch, the networking event, the boundaries, the leadership decision, the thing you've been saying you're going to do for 6 months and somehow it's getting pushed off to Monday. Now here's the crazy part. Most people think they're struggling because they lack discipline. I don't think that's true. In fact, I think many ambitious, high-performing people are actually working against invisible forces they haven't identified yet. They're trying to solve a confidence problem when it's really a trigger problem. They're trying to solve a productivity problem when it's really an emotional management problem. They're trying to solve an alignment problem with more information when what they actually need is a better recovery system. Today, I'm going to show you 3 things that completely change the way I approach difficult tasks in my life and business. We're going to talk about why you're really struggling to do the hard thing, the simple recovery system I use when life starts lifing, and the secret reward strategy that makes difficult tasks dramatically easier to stick with. Because once you understand these 3 things, you'll stop relying on motivation and start creating consistency. And that's where transformation actually happens. Let's look at understanding the trigger. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Success is rarely derailed by a lack of talent. It's rarely derailed by a lack of intelligence. And it's definitely not usually a lack of opportunity. More often than not, it's derailed by distractions, habits, emotions, and unexpected situations that slowly pull us away from what matters most. Think about it. How many times have you started the day with a clear plan, only to end the day wondering what in the world happened? You were busy, you were productive, you answered emails, you attended meetings, you even solved problems, but somehow the thing that would actually move your life forward never got done. That's a trigger. A trigger is anything that consistently interrupts your focus, drains your energy, or causes you to abandon commitments you've made to yourself. Some triggers are external, things like social media, notifications that ding on your phone, unexpected requests from friends, an overloaded calendar that you didn't mean to do, or people who constantly need something from you. But some of the most dangerous triggers are internal. Things like fear, perfectionism, self-doubt, procrastination, overthinking, overwhelm. And here's the problem. Most people don't recognize the trigger until they're already off track. It's like driving a car and not realizing you've drifted into another lane until you hit those rumbling strips. The trigger isn't the problem. The lack of awareness is. This is why self-awareness is one of the most important leadership skills you'll ever develop, because you can't solve a problem you haven't identified. So here's a question I want you to consider. What consistently causes you to abandon the goals you've set for yourself? Not occasionally, consistently, because that's your trigger. And identifying it is the first step towards reclaiming your confidence, your focus, and your alignment. But self-awareness alone isn't enough, because even if we know our triggers, life still happens. And that's where the next piece comes in. I want us to create a posture protocol. Now, this might be one of the most valuable concepts I have ever taught. I call it a posture protocol. And honestly, it's one of the reasons I can stay consistent even when life gets messy. A posture protocol is simply a predefined response to predictable setbacks. That's it. It's a personal recovery system. Because let's be honest, you don't need a plan for when everything is going well, right? Because it's going well. You need a plan for when you are overwhelmed, when you're frustrated beyond belief, when you're discouraged, when you're distracted. We just talked about that. And when you're emotionally exhausted. When you start seeing that life is lifing, honey, because that's usually when people quit. Not because they lack capability, but because they start making decisions from their emotions instead of their intentions. And emotions make terrible CEOs. Imagine if every time you felt overwhelmed, you already knew exactly what to do. Imagine if every time you felt discouraged, you had a recovery plan. Imagine if every time your confidence took a hit, you had a process that guided you back into alignment. That's what a posture protocol does. Now, let me give you an example. When I feel overwhelmed, my protocol is something like pause, brain dump everything that's on my mind, and identify the next smallest step I can take, and then complete only that step. When I feel discouraged, I can review evidence of my past wins. I can reconnect to my purpose in some way. I can talk to someone who has perspective, because obviously mine is out of whack. When I feel distracted, maybe I will just silence all of my notifications or reset my environment or move and work in a focused work block. The goal isn't perfection here. The goal is recovery, because successful people aren't successful because they never get knocked off course. We know that's not true. They're successful because they know how to get back on course quickly. And if you're interested in this concept, my upcoming planner and journal is going to go much deeper into helping you build your own posture protocols. So I want you to make sure that you're connected to our community so that you'll know when pre-orders start. I'm super excited about it. You've heard me talking about it in the past, so I'm really excited about it because this single concept can change how you navigate both leadership and life. So I want you to get into it. But there's one final piece. And this one is where most people completely miss the opportunity to make hard things easier. And that is to connect a reward to the task. Yes, let's talk about something that your brain loves. Rewards, rewards. So here's what I discovered. Many people are trying to build habits that don't have a meaningful reward attached to them. And that's why consistency feels so difficult. Your brain is constantly asking one question. Girl, what's in this for me? Now, before you roll your eyes, I want you to hear me out. This isn't about bribing yourself. That's not what I'm talking about here. It's about understanding how you're wired. One of the things I teach is creating a personal framework. Here is where you need to truly understand your strengths, your limitations, your desires, and those oh so important non-negotiables. Because the more aligned your habits are with who you truly are, the easier they become to sustain. Let me give you a simple example. If connection motivates you, don't build a habit in isolation. If achievement motivates you, create visible scoreboards. If personal growth is what excites you, connect the habit to the future version of yourself. Then identify the cue and the routine and the reward that is attached to that. And maybe after completing your workout, you enjoy your favorite coffee, let's say. Maybe after finalizing your deep work session, you can spend 20 guilt-free minutes reading. Or maybe after making sales calls, you can schedule something you genuinely look forward to doing. Having something positive attached to the difficult work changes everything because you're no longer focused on what you're giving up. See how that works? You're focused on what you're moving towards. And that's a very different experience. So, if you've been struggling to do the hard things lately, I want you to remember something very important. It may not be a discipline problem, sis. It may be a trigger problem. It may be a recovery problem. Or it may be a reward problem. Start by identifying what consistently knocks you off course. Build a posture protocol that helps you recover quickly, and connect meaningful rewards to the habits that matter most. Because confidence isn't built by thinking differently. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. One promise at a time, one difficult task at a time, one aligned decision at a time. And if nobody has told you lately, my dear friend, you are far more capable than your current results suggest. I'll see you in the next video.